If you're new to my channel, my name is Melinda and I have 2 autistic boys. I'm also a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and I also balance having my own practice with raising 4 additional other kids. And there are plenty of times that I just need time to myself, or maybe it's been a day. And so I've been able to identify in myself times when I need to remove myself, or I'm not maybe in the best mindset to be able to better deal with my autistic kids. So I wanted to offer up quick tips and hints to help you can help identify when the moments you need to step away versus times when it's okay to go ahead and interact or do whatever's necessary to help manage your autistic kid. As a parent, it's always imperative that we're aware of our own mindset, our own headspace when we're dealing with our children, especially when it comes to realizing moments when maybe we need to remove ourselves or step away. No parent wants to respond negatively or overreact to a situation because they're feeling stressed and or overwhelmed in a situation. And so that's why it's really important to realize the moments when I can't handle this right now. I'm not in a good headspace myself. I'm feeling either too overwhelmed, too tired, too stressed, or whatever else is going on with me that I cannot respond appropriately to my child. Being able to know this at the forefront, it helps you to be able to prevent yourself from negatively responding to your child, autistic or not, and giving them a response that would not be positive for them. When you notice that in yourself, then it's time to step away, then it's time to remove yourself from that situation. All of us are not blessed enough that we have maybe another parent who can help us or a family member who can always step in. So even if you find yourself in that situation and maybe you're a single parent or you don't have anybody who can offer you respite care, being able just to remove yourself, even if it is temporarily, by maybe shutting yourself in your room, shutting yourself in your bathroom, taking a couple moments to deep breathe to yourself and just give yourself time to gain some mental clarity is so key. Better to take that 30 seconds, 60 seconds break to yourself away from your child to calm yourself down before responding, because that way it ensures that you're not going to lash out at them unintentionally or say something that might be harmful to them, or God forbid overreact and do something and grab them away you don't mean to and scare your child potentially. And this is I always recommend, again, identifying and knowing yourself enough to know that I've reached that limit. I need a break. One of the things that I've identified in myself to know that I might be needing to remove myself in a situation is that I feel overwhelmed. Signs of overwhelm can be things like finding it hard to concentrate, not having mental clarity, feeling like it is too much to handle in a situation. A situation that normally would be easy for you to manage is all of a sudden seeming like it's too much. Maybe you're trying to balance too many things at one time. Whatever the situation is, if you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, then it is always better for you to remove yourself, or if you can, telling the child, hey, I need a break. Mommy needs a break. And that's what I do sometimes for my kids. And in those situations, I sometimes have to get up and just say, hey, give me a second, and walk away. But I'd rather walk away in that moment, regather myself, give myself time to breathe and push through, than trying to respond when I know that I'm not in a good headspace, because I know in that moment I'm going to respond more negatively. I'm going to have more of an attitude. I'm not going to be as patient or understanding. I'm sure not going to use the coping skills that I know work for them. And the result is it's not going to be good for me or my child. Another time that you might need to step away instead of trying to manage your autistic kid is if you haven't gotten adequate rest. Rest is so necessary, and getting adequate sleep is a vital part of being able to manage day-to-day stressors and just life in general. When you do not get enough rest at night, it's a lot harder the next day to focus or to concentrate. Small little things that normally wouldn't bother you or wouldn't really get on your nerves can more easily irritate you or agitate you. When you don't have enough rest, even just having the capacity to make it through the day can seem a lot. And so you're more easily overwhelmed by daily activities or things that you need to manage. And so if you notice that, say you've had a bad night the night before, or you haven't gotten adequate rest, and then the next day maybe a lot's going on with your life, or a lot's going on and your kids are having a harder time regulating themselves, maybe they're overly stimulated or things in general are going on, this might be a moment where you might need to say, hey, I need to step away, because right now this is a lot. And it's better to identify that, hey, I didn't get the rest that I needed last night, so I don't really have the ability to respond today like I need to, versus in your more sleep deprived state trying to manage what's going on with your child. Sometimes even being able to identify that in yourself can help you take pause to better stop yourself from just responding and be like, okay, I'm tired. Then you can kind of compose yourself and then go on and manage what you need to. But if you are able to remove yourself, again, sometimes getting away from the situation even briefly is a better situation than trying to manage something when your first response wouldn't be your best response, but it's more your tired response. Another time that you might need to remove yourself or realize that, hey, this is not the best moment for me to be managing my autistic kids is if you're irritable. We all have days where we just woke up on the left side of the bed. Everything's getting on our nerves. Today's just not my day. And when those days happen, everybody stays back from me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not biting people's heads off, but I am definitely not patient. I am definitely not the most loving, and my responses are not going to be what they want to be. So when I realize about myself that I am not in my best mood today, I try to stay back from everybody, my autistic and my non-autistic kids. If it's a situation where I know I'm irritable and I already know that going on forehead, and something happens where, say, my kid's overly stimulated or something is going on, there are moments that I'm able to kind of catch myself, put my feelings to the side, and manage and do what needs to be done. But if it's one of those days where I just can't get it together, I'm just really in my feelings, everything and any and everything is bothering me and irritating me this day, then this is going to be the day that I remove myself. This is going to be the day that maybe they get what they want that day, because it's easier than me having to do what needs to be done. This is going to be the moment where maybe I'm walking off and saying, tag Dante, you're it. I can't do it right now. Like, I'm not a parent today. And I just have to walk off and go to my room and put myself to bed, start over again tomorrow. And sometimes that's okay as a parent. Sometimes it's okay to realize I've reached capacity. There's nothing more in me today. My response is not going to be what it's going to be. But again, like I mentioned earlier, sometimes we don't have the ability to just walk away and tag and somebody else is in. And in those situations, maybe I just go to the bathroom, and sometimes I have a good cry. If I'm home by myself, my husband's unable to come in, and I'm just irritable and I'm just not feeling whatever it is. A lot of times I have to sit back and figure out what's really causing these deeper emotions in me. And I have to deal with my emotions before I can help deal with my child's emotions. And so that is why it is so key and integral in all these things to be very realistic and upfront with identifying what's going on inside of yourself. Because our emotions directly affect our children's. And our emotions are directly going to affect our response to our children. And especially in our autistic kids, when they are more sensitive to overstimulation, when they're more sensitive to your facial responses or how people say or do things, when they are very nuanced or they need things done in a similar way. When your day is off and thrown off, it's also going to disrupt them. They're going to feel your energy. They're going to notice something's off with you. And sometimes that can also further cause irritations or meltdowns in them. So me being more aware of my emotions and realizing today is not a good day and removing myself allows me to kind of keep my house in a more regulated state and a more calm situation. Another thing me being able to identify my emotions does, it helps my kids see that, hey, just like them, I don't always have a perfect day. Sometimes things are off in me. Sometimes I need to learn to regulate myself. And so it's actually helpful to our kids because they can see that, hey, mommy can see when she has a bad day, there are things she has to do to self-soothe. There are things she has to do to regulate her own emotions. And so it allows them to see that I'm not just telling them things, that I'm not also having to work on myself. So it can also be an additional way to help them by modeling for them correct behaviors to do when our emotions aren't the best on all these days. Well, these are just a few reasons why I found that I needed to step away and wasn't in the best headspace to manage my autistic kids. Are there any other reasons that you found where you were like, whoa, hey, I need to step away. I can't manage my autistic kids right now? If so, comment those down below. If you're new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you back. I upload new videos twice a month on Sundays and don't want you to miss any future uploads. If you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and also make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads that I do.